This is the final part of your action plan. It should have come at the beginning because we are going to ask you for the indicators, basic vaccination indicators. Most of them can be found in your country's DHIS2. So this is, if you don't know what DHIS2 is, you can click. And it's a global public good. So it's a health information management system for immunization. So most countries now have a DHIS2 system. You may have another health management information system. So if you don't know these indicators, you can say, I don't know. And actually, we recommend that if you're not sure, if you don't know, just say no. So let's get started. First of all, we ask you for the name of your organizational unit or area of intervention. Now, this is the area, your scope of work. Maybe, if you're in a health facility, give the name of your facility. If you're responsible for a district, you work at the district level, give the name of your district. If you work in a region or a state, for example, in Nigeria, give that, whatever it may be. So in my case, let's say I'm at the Kwame health facility. All right, so I'm going to click OK. Now, is it an urban or rural or other? So let's say if I type other, I can specify exactly what type of environment I'm working in. But in my case, Kwame Health Facility is in a rural environment. Now, do I know the size of the vaccination target population? So the number of people who need vaccines or to be protected from vaccine preventable diseases. So if I don't know, I click no. And it's okay if you don't know. It's more important for you to say, I actually don't know this, than to pretend that you do. So, and if you say no, you actually skip over that question. Now, I do want to show you how to enter information here. So I'm going to say yes. And the size of the population in Kwame Health Facility, so we serve 1,000 people. That's, yes. So there. And you can see here the specs. Enter a whole number. So I don't think it works if I put in a comma. So you see numbers only. And if you are unsure, enter your best guess. But ideally, you should be able to look up this information so you get a reliable figure, or a figure as reliable as available. We know the denominator, as the size of a population is sometimes called, because it's the denominator part of the equation to calculate vaccine coverage. You may not be reliable, but give us what you know. And if you don't know, just say no. Now, do you know the number of outreach immunization sessions that were planned and then actually carried out? So this is actually two different numbers, the number that were planned and then those that were actually carried out. So if you don't know both numbers, say no. But I know for Kwame Health Facility, I know that we plan to do 20, or let's say 12, one a month. And because of COVID, we did 9. And there are 3 months where we did not do outreach immunization sessions. So you can see here, be careful what's being asked for. So first is planned outreach sessions. And second, the ones that were actually carried out. Next question. I'm asked if I know the antenatal care coverage in my area of intervention. So this is the percentage of women aged 15 to 49 with a live birth in a given time period that received antenatal care 4 or more times. Now, this is available through the DHIS2 or other health data, should be available for your area of intervention. If it is not, you say no. But if it is, okay, so I will say, 80% of women go for at least the visits. Now, you can see if I try to enter a percentage sign, it says do not add a percentage sign, enter a number between 0 and 100 because this is a percentage, all right? And this is the official definition of the indicator by the World Health Organization. Now, there's discussion whether there are other, whether it's 4 visits or whether 1 visit in relation to vaccination might be more important. But this is what you're likely to find in your existing health data. So this is what we ask you for. Now we come to the indicators for vaccination specifically. So Penta 1 coverage. So this is a percentage of 1-year-olds who've received the first dose of the combined diphtheria, tetanus, toxoid, and pertussis, the DTP3 vaccine. So if I know this, Yes, for my area of intervention, say it is 85%. Again, we're talking about percentages. And then the Penta 3 coverage. So this is the number, the percentage of 1-year-olds who have received 3 doses of the combined. So pay attention to what is different here. Penta 1 is the first dose of DPT3 vaccine, and Penta 3 is the 3 doses, so who've received all 3 doses. Now, what's the current Penta 3 coverage? I've said yes, so let's say that this is at 80. And this is where we can check for logical coherence. It is likely that successive vaccines are going to have achieved lower percentage coverage, for example. So the more you know about vaccination, the more you'll be able to make sense of these indicators and be able to relate them back to your challenge, your goal, and to the actions that you want to carry out. The reason we're asking you for these questions is to help you situate. It's an important aspect of your situation, depending on what your goal is, depending on the challenge. But nearly any challenge, any goal is going to have to be related back to some of these indicators. You'll also be able to measure progress by referring to these indicators. Now, after Penta, we come to measles. So we have the first measles vaccine. So MCV1 is the percentage of children aged 12 to 23 months who've received at least 1 dose of measles-containing vaccine in a given year. So if I know this, I put it in, yes, and say 90%, and then the 2 doses, how many have received the 2 doses of measles-containing vaccine, and here, let's say it drops to 70. So again, take the time to read what is being requested. It is not the number of children, it is a percentage. So that is immunization coverage in a percentage. Do you know the vaccination coverage for the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine? So if I do know that, let's say it is 2%, and here. All right, so that is for the indicators. Now, the final part will be to actually figure out think through and make the decision. I've just developed an action plan by answering these questions, so the indicators, but also the preceding questions covered in the preceding tutorials. Remember, what's important about the indicators is what they mean for your action plan, for your goal and your challenge. So think through, I just answered these questions, I just gave these numbers. Do any of them relate to my goal, to my challenge, to my actions? Can I use any of them to better understand my situation? Can I use any of these indicators to measure progress, to see if my action plan, when implemented, is actually making a difference? The answer may be no to these questions. You may not be able to relate them, but these are some of the most basic indicators that you need to know. And if you can relate them back to your goal, your challenge, your actions, then you've got something very useful that you can use to make progress.